few months ago, I visited a school in Dennery South. It was not a ceremony. It was not a scheduled engagement. It was simply one of those random visits on my way to work that I would just decide to stop and visit a school. Because I believe, as a minister, you must always feel the pulse of the people who keep the education system running. Naturally, after speaking to the principal, after speaking to teachers, I went to visit the janitors and the cooks. And as we spoke, I heard something that stayed with me. It was the anxiety of knowing whether they would be paid for the summer month. I understand that anxiety. I have said proudly, repeatedly, and unapologetically that I am the son of a janitor. I know what it means when the livelihood of a family depends on a paycheck coming at the end of a month. I know that behind every worker is a family, children, responsibilities, and dreams. And after listening to this conversation, your government went to work. Your government listened, and your government, the government of St. Lucia, went to work. Your prime minister went to work. A prime minister that cares about the people, who's moved by the real needs and anxieties of our citizens. He listened and he went to work. And today, I am proud to report that every daily paid worker will receive their salary for the summer months. Let me make this absolutely clear that this took political strength, this took political fortitude, and irrespective of where any person voted, we believed in the dignity, we believed in the beauty of every worker, and we ensured that every worker will be paid this summer. This is not merely a payment, it is security. It means that a mother could buy food for her children. It means that a father could pay the electricity bill. A parent could purchase school supplies. A family could meet their needs with dignity. It means that our people could breathe a little easier because they know that the income they worked for, it will be received. And that, my friend, is a responsible government. And this decision also sends a powerful message about how we value the people who keep our schools functioning and who keeps our school running. We rightfully celebrate our teachers. Rightfully, we celebrate our teachers. I too, I'm a former teacher. We applaud our principals. We recognize our education officers. We celebrate our curriculum specialists and other technocrats who work tirelessly to advance the education system. But we must never forget that the survival and daily functioning of our schools are safely placed in the men and women who sit behind our technocrats. That's you. Before the first lesson begins, someone has cleaned the classroom. Before the first child eats, someone has prepared the meal. Before the first student walks through the door, someone has ensured that the environment is ready, is safe, and it's welcoming. It is in Francis Natram. It's in Fleur Hippolyte. It's in Nadia Jabaptiste. It is in Vanessa Morris. It is in Charlotte McFarlane. It is in Jennifer Emil. Just some of the people who ensure that our schools are safe for our children, and we celebrate you this morning. You may not always stand at this podium, but you stand at our foundation. And as our government, we must never take you for granted, and we will never take you for granted. Today, we are saying to our daily paid workers, we see you, we hear you, we value you, and we recognize your contributions to the development of our country. Because a government must not only build bridges, roads, and buildings. A government must build confidence, dignity, security in the lives of our people. And today, this is exactly what we're doing. Every daily paid worker across St. Lucia, to you, I say thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for keeping our schools and our country moving forward. The government of St. Lucia sees you. The government of St. Lucia hears you. The government of St. Lucia will always stand with you. I thank you.
I am exceedingly excited today. As Danny said, he is a son of a cook, of a janitor. I am a grandson of a janitor. And anybody from Grosley who has this speech will remember Florence Casimir, a janitor at the Grosley Primary and Infant School for over 30 years. And I know she is smiling down at her grandson that she never got to vote for, but that she encouraged to be upright in the community. And that finally, that he serves with a prime minister and a government who understands that St. Lucia is for all. St. Lucia and the benefits and what this government is putting together economically must trickle to all and sundry. And that when you work in this country, you must be treated fairly. You must be treated fairly. And so I am happy that today, that when you consult your bank accounts, that I can go to Grosley Daycare and get a nice drink. Whether it's a bottle of water, or a ting, or a shandy, or a ginger ale, like the Prime Minister suggests, that the cook at the daycare, that the cleaners and the janitors can say, here you go, young man, I have already started buying the books and the uniform and the school shoes for my children. Thank you to the government of St. Lucia. And so for me today, despite the fact that we see what's happening in the global scene, despite the challenges economically, we watch CNN and BBC and we see the Strait of Hormuz closed. We know that gas prices are rising. We know that daily the globe is facing financial constraint. But that this Minister of Finance could find the money to pay all here today speaks volumes about what's happening in this country. Volumes. And this is not all that is happening in education. In this month, $500 bursaries has been paid to all entering secondary school students. All paid. I can say as the Minister of Education that all Form 1 students' laptops are on island presently, and all are programmed, and in the first week of school, every Form 1 child will be getting their brand new laptop. I can say that despite all the difficulties and despite the naysayers that have never considered doing this for the people of this country, that finance has been made available by this Honorable Prime Minister to hire 10 new counselors for our school system as we speak. 10 new counselors will be employed by this government. 2 additional social workers. And so our students that have these psychosocial issues can be given the attention that they need so they can be set on the straight and narrow in our education system. This government is getting this done. I can say, despite all the difficulties and the naysayers, that book bursaries has been paid to primary school students in this nation already. The book bursaries for the less fortunate. This Prime Minister, this government has ensured that these individuals are on par with the rest of the world. I can say that this government has ensured that every single school on this island has a principal, assistant, or a secretary to help them with their daily duties. This is the work that this government is putting in place despite the difficulties. I can say to this audience and the rest of the world that come the first week of September, because education is a big priority to this government, that every early childhood center will be given $3,000 towards their operations. And that's not all. In addition to getting $3,000, they will receive an additional $100 per child in the early childhood system every single term. And so when I listen to naysayers, I say this is a government that truly cares. This government in our education system is ensuring that we have truancy officers throughout the length and breadth of this country. So if a child is no longer attending school, if a child misses 4 unsolicited days from school, that the truancy officer can go in that community, identify what is going on, and bring the child back into the classroom. This Honorable Prime Minister is ensuring that education continues to be the number one priority in developing the young people of this nation. And so, when I get to work, a lot of people notice that I don't take the elevator. I take the 4 flights of stairs to get to the office because I can bounce up and down because I know what this government is doing for the people of this country. And when I get to the 4th floor, I can see on my desk that this government is expanding the 1 banana a day program to every student in this country. And so the potassium that they need to function in the classroom is given to them early in the morning. The magnesium they need for their brain to function, I tell you I'm a nutritionist too, you know that, can be given to them early in the morning. And then I can see on my desk when Mr. Kodra and Miss Emmanuel and Chief Education Officer come to me that we as a government is going to continue to pay 5 CXCs for every student in this country. And so I have a reason to be excited. A reason to be excited. And when this new term begins, this government has partnered with CARE. I've partnered with CARE because we've seen some of the issues with young people, especially young men in our communities. And we have started a program called SPAY. One thing, they know how to put it together, which is the Education and Skills Pathway for At-Risk Youth. So when they finish CPEA and we are not satisfied with their grades, or we see a tendency that leads them to being a tailor, leads them to being a mechanic, leads them to being something that is innate in them, that very early on through CARE and other institutional programs that we can set them on the straight and narrow of education in this country. And so sometimes I hear the naysayers act like nothing is going on in our country. But I can tell you, it is only the beginning. It is only the beginning. In the month of August, almost 90% of schools in this country have already been given some form of attention in terms of the physical space and classrooms in this country. We have instituted a summer works program early so that our students can get back into the classroom in an expedited fashion. And so, my people, today we are showing that despite all the challenges in the world, despite all what we have going on in our education system, though some prime ministers and minister of finance, some governments would be satisfied and they would say and have every justification to say, you are doing enough in our education system. This government has said no. Our daycare workers who are breeding the next generation of young people in this country need to be compensated in August. Our cleaners and our janitors who have to send their children to school must be paid. And of course, we are ensuring that our students are on par with the rest of the world by providing them with the tools that they need to function and compete globally. And that is why we're seeing at CPA we are doing better than a lot of them. That is why at CXC we are seeing that we continue to do what we need to do. And so, our people, I want to congratulate you today. I want to let you know that each parliamentarian will be approaching you very, very soon for you to make a small contribution to somebody else in the community, as you now have the ability to smile and say that you have a government that truly cares for you and all and sundry in this country. Let's celebrate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, I give you thanks for all you've done for me. I am so blessed, my soul is at rest. Oh Lord, I give you thanks. Thanks, I give you thanks for all you've done for me. I am so blessed, my soul is at rest. Oh Lord, I give you thanks. Sing with me. Thanks, I give you thanks for all you've done for me. I am so blessed, my soul is at rest. So Lord, I give you thanks. Oh Lord, I give you thanks.
Stand up and give yourself a round of applause. Do it, everybody. Yes. Thank you very much. There are people in this country who want you to believe that this country is in a state of confusion, a state of mess. That is deliberate. Do not allow anybody to make you believe that you live in a country where you must always look at the glass half empty and not half full. There has never been a perfect country, never. There's never been a perfect country. But I'm saying to you, you can feel proud that we are trying our utmost best to make life for you more comfortable within the resources that we have. And the very fact that you worked your entire life, and those before you worked their entire life, cleaning, as janitors, as cooks, as early childhood educators, and for the month of August, they had to make a sacrifice, stay without pay, but still come to clean before school opens. And you showed that level of personal responsibility, that level of commitment to the development of St. Lucia, that you did that. I am proud of you, and you need to say you love St. Lucia. Because these children these classrooms that you clean and the work that you do, we can never pay you enough for that, never. We can never pay you enough for cleaning the washrooms, never. And don't pretend that we're paying you enough. We're not paying you enough. We need to pay you more, but we can only pay you what the country can afford. And that is why we increase the minimum wage. When they go around and they talk about this and that, they forget the steps we've taken. We've increased the minimum wage, stage one. And I can assure you, once the economy can afford it, once we are through with this chaos that's happening in the world, and that chaos that's happening in the world is not because of my fault. You understand? I always make that point. I never caused no war. When that chaos in the world has lessened, and if we have the privilege to be around, we will ensure that the minimum wage increases again. Because all the prophets of doom and gloom and the commentators who every day instill nonsense and lies in your head and make you believe that any statement the Prime Minister makes, you have to interpret it as if they are trying to make a confusion or publish with me. Not me. My job is a temporary job. My job is a temporary job. I will leave it at some point. I must leave it. There are several people who were there long before me. George Charles, John Compton, Alan Louise, what's that one name? Alan Shastner, all of them. They were there before me and they left it. So I leave it too. But whilst I'm there, I will speak the truth to you. And whilst I'm there, I'll try to improve the quality of your life and the life of your children. So here's what I said. Here's what I said. And let me say it again. Every man and woman has to have a certain level of personal responsibility. You have to make sacrifices. You have to have priorities. And the reason why you are here today, because your priority was to work, albeit where you worked, to make some money to see about yourself and your children. That was the responsibility that you took as a human being. That's the choice that you made. All of us have a choice. And the choices we make depends on how we think and our circumstances. So I said, if you want your children to go to school, apart from the fact of what the government is giving you, today, as we speak, the parents in my constituency are getting education support from the SSDF. Remember that. They're getting education support from the SSDF as I speak now. So I said, you must make some level of personal sacrifices and get your priorities right. That's what I said. And your priorities are right. That's why you walk in. Your priorities are right. So I said, and I'll say it again, because too many people in this country want to mislead people just to serve their own personal political gain. The people of St. Lucia have spoken, and they'll speak again at some point. And when we pay you in August, nobody knows who voted yellow, who voted red, who voted blue, who voted green. Everybody gets the salary. No matter those who campaign for, campaign against, they will get their salary at the end of August. And that's what we're about, whether you like it or not. Everybody will get their salary. Everybody. So when you vote is your business. But the very fact is, you'll get your salary. And that's what's important. We didn't say that we're only going to give salary increases to some certain kind of people or victimize you because you did not vote for us. We gave you a salary, and that's the government that we have. Everybody, every child gets a computer. Every child, we pay the $500 for them. Every early childhood center, we increase the allowance for them. We pay tuition, help in the tuition for every child. When you go to the Ministry of Education and register, they don't ask who you vote for. When he'll distribute the computers, he won't ask who you vote for. He'll give every child a computer. And that's what we're about. And that is the fact. These are true things. These are not things that I'm saying and you say, boy, sister, way, maresa. It's reality. That is reality. So let me come back to what I said. I said that if you want to drink 3 beers, and I want him to quote me again, because no man or no woman can make me back down from the truth. Once I know what I say is true, once I know that my intentions are honorable, no man, no matter who they are, no matter who they think they are, can ever make me back down. Never. And you're looking for me to back down, they will not find it from me. Because once I am speaking on behalf of the people of St. Lucia, once my intention is to improve the quality of life, I will never back down. Let me tell you what I said. I said, if you, a customer drinking 3 beers, so that means how much a beer? It doesn't drink beer. How much a beer? $5 a beer. Easy maths. So a beer is $5. So you're spending $15 to buy beer. All I'm saying to you, all I said to you, is take $250 and put aside to send your children to school. $250 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 to send your children We don't live in a country where money is in abundance. You hand for yourself. You hand for yourself what's happening in the world. Right now, as we speak, the people in the Ministry of Finance have told me we may be losing millions of dollars in excise revenue from gasoline because of what's happening in the world now. It's not our fault. Which government can make them stop fighting Iran and the US? Which government? Which talk show host can stop the war that's happening there? Which one? We have to deal with it. I have to deal with it. I have sleepless nights to deal with it. And don't believe that we paid, because we paid for August, it was easy. That was a decision that we took, a political decision to improve your lives. And the people in the Ministry of Education executed it, and the technocrats. Because all decisions that are taken, that the technocrats execute, are political decisions. That's what they are. The technocrats execute political decisions. They give policy guidance, and we decide. And that is why the only time you can get your teachers can get their payments at Christmas time is when the government decides that it's time to pay it. Because there were governments before, they never saw it fit to want to pay teachers with the August salaries. They never saw it fit to want to pay you your August salary. They never saw it fit. There were people there before. But we decided that we're going to pay it to you. And we're proud that we're doing it, not only for people who supported us, but for everybody. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you because we appreciate what you do. That's what we are about. That's our history. That's our history, seeing about people, seeing about workers. And any time you give us the opportunity, the workers in this country benefit. As a fact, whether you like it or not, as a fact. All the progressive legislation in this country as it relates to workers has happened when one government is in power. All. Except the national insurance, which was the legacy of John Compton, and we thank him for that. It used to be called National Provident Fund. That was John Compton's legacy, and John Compton's history also involved seeing about workers in this country. And we must applaud him and thank him for that. But, so you make no bones about seeing about the workers in this country. So paying your salaries in August is part of our history. That's what we are about. Increasing your minimum wage, part of our history. That's what we are about. Paying 5 CXC subjects for your children is what we are about. We are a government of education. Giving you computers to go to school is what we are about. That's our DNA. And we're going to do more. We're going to do more. We are going to do more. So I want to thank you for these years of working and making that sacrifice and taking that personal responsibility for the children of this country, for making that sacrifice. And whilst I'm in this job, I will always say what is true. I always tell you what is good for you. I will always tell you that if you have your son or your husband or your partner, ask him to drive carefully and ask him not to drink and drive. You understand? And no matter how much speed bump you put in the road, speed bumps are for careful drivers. When a man drunk, we care about speed bump when he's drunk. But these hypocrites, that wants to make you believe that it's because of X and Y it's not happening. If everybody drives within the speed limit, there are going to be collisions. There may be accidents, but the deaths on the road will not be at such magnitude. That is a fact. You have to be proud, members of this society. You have to be proud St. Lucians. You have to see each one of us are making a contribution to the development of St. Lucia. Each one of you, not only the minister or the PS or chief education officer, each one of you in the education system is making a contribution. Because if the restrooms are not clean, if the schools are not clean, the teacher can't teach. So you're very important. Don't let anybody bring you down. Don't let anybody make you raise your blood pressure because they're making you believe, but I tell my word by. Of course things are difficult. Of course everybody needs more money. Of course the cost of living is going up. Of course. We know that. And that's why I talk about priorities. Because nobody can cause any change to what's happening outside of St. Lucia. Nobody. Nobody. And when they talk all their nonsense, tell them, give you solutions. Tell you what they would do to make a barrel of oil that was less than $20 in 2020 or 2019. It cost $87. Now it was $100 last month, a month before. Ask them what would they do to cause that to come down. And still be able to pay your August salaries. And still be able to pay teacher salaries. And still be able to give each one a child a computer. And still be able to give the $500. And still be able to do the early child education. You know why? Because of proper fiscal management. Because we have our priorities right. The same priorities we're talking about when we tell you to save some money to send your children to school. These are the priorities. Everybody has priorities. Everybody must budget. And when you get your salary every month, you have to budget. And when you budget, your budget is about your priorities. Your budget is about sending your children to school instead of going and do something else. And when you say you have to save to buy it. So you say, I'm going to save $10 every month or $40 every month to reach a goal, to buy something for yourself. That's what I mean by priorities. That's what I'll continue to say. So I want to tell you the government appreciates you. And that's why we're doing that. We appreciate you because we know that you make tremendous sacrifice. That you have tremendous personal responsibility to come to work every day, to clean the schools, to clean the washrooms, to see about the early childhood education. And it's my desire, and I've given both my colleague minister and the education officials, it's my desire that every child gets free early childhood education in the next 2 years. That is my desire. And we are going to work towards it. Because what's happening now is that children, they need to be nurtured properly, both in terms of their academic growth and their other aspects of their life. They need to be nurtured early. And that's why we want to have early childhood education free. So thank you very much. I hope that you enjoy your holidays, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.